I'm Sheriff David Beth. Surrounding me are some of the deputies last night that fortunately caught 4 suspects in a home invasion and homicide that happened in Brighton. It was on 60th Street, the 23900 block. At approximately 12:10 this morning, we got a 911 call that came in from a Susan Liddell, and we're going to play for you the 911 tape as it came in. It's about 5 minutes long. We'll play that at the end. And what she did is she advised dispatch that there were men in her house and they were waving guns and they were pointing, and her husband was down and he was bleeding, and they were still in the house. They were going to wake basically the entire evening, so their eyes were probably looking a little bloodshot, but they did an excellent job. The call came in. Deputy Joe Zarletti was about 1.5 miles away. The dispatcher relayed the information. The 911 call related to the sheriff's dispatch. He obviously picked it up and he sent the information, or he responded to the scene on 60th Street. And Deputy Zarletti saw a vehicle. It was a 2008 Mazda. It was dark, either black or charcoal in color, and he followed the car. He saw it speeding out of the driveway and he followed the car. Got a license plate, called for backup, and just south of Highway 50 on Highway 83, John Cyphers was the second deputy to arrive there, and they did a felony stop. And they stopped the vehicle. They took the driver and the passengers. There were 3 passengers in the vehicle. There were 4 occupants in that Mazda, and handcuffed them. Other squads were arrived, and Doris Carroll is one of the ones right here to my left, and they took the 4 suspects out. When they got them out, they found 3 guns inside the car, 2 shotguns and 1 rifle with no stock on it. One of the shotguns had a Bushnell red dot scope on it, and part of the scope they actually found inside the house. So this is one of the key piece of evidence. I think they also found some blood on one of the suspect's pants, and we haven't identified that, but another piece of evidence partially tying this to the incident that happened. The vehicle was processed. I think it was about 3 o'clock this morning. All 4 suspects were taken to the hospital. Legal blood was drawn, and what initially we were told, and you'll hear it on the tape, it sounds like the suspects came in looking for money and drugs. So I did talk to the spouse. She was very upset. She found out that her husband, Robin Liddell, had passed away about 4:30 this morning. She was, I told her, and she knew that she just knew that the way he was shot and the way he was laying on the floor, that he wasn't going to make it. So this was a very difficult time for her. And I'm trying to think of, I didn't come in here with a script, so I kind of winged it from starting about 1 o'clock in the morning when I got the first phone call to right now. If you can think of any questions, which I'm sure you can, I'd be happy to answer them, or maybe someone else here can.
What were Mr. Liddell's injuries? Exactly.
From what I was told, and I have not had this confirmed yet, but I believe he had a single gunshot wound right in the area of the left breast, right in the heart area.
How much time passed between the 911 call and when the first deputy arrived at the house?
She was still on the phone when the car was pulling out of the driveway. And so even though we don't have, 3 minutes when the first call came in, and they were still in the house. The suspects were still in the house, and you'll hear that. She will be hollering at them while she is on the phone with 911. So they were still there ransacking the house, and in one part she says they're looking for drugs and money. And I believe that they were probably still in there looking at that time. And the dispatcher, you can hear the keystrokes on the computer. She was sending the information to the other dispatcher, and Deputy Zarletti and other deputies were on their way to the scene. And because of that delay, their delay inside the house, Deputy Zarletti was able to get to that scene and observe the vehicle leaving.
Sheriff Beth, is this related at all to the other home invasion on Sunday night?
The one on Sunday night, I have not seen the reports on that yet. I'm going to believe no. We believe that was gang related, and I don't believe that these are connected. Not that we're ruling that out, but that is not the first impression that we have here.
Where was the one Sunday night? You know?
I believe it was up in Summers on 56th Avenue.
You guys said on your report you don't believe it's a random act. Obviously, since these two people knew each other, what they have been telling you, what was the motive for this crime?
Well, we're still interviewing some of the suspects as we speak. The interviews are still continuing. I know Mr. Navigato, he was interviewed already. One of the other ones, I believe, is still in the process of being interviewed. And we're trying to get to all of them. What we did last night, we had a few different situations going on. We depleted our entire detective unit and our deputies that we could get a hold of, and we're processing everything as quickly as we can. So there's a little delay, more than I'd like, but it's still going on. The fact that they knew each other, and they knew each other for several years. So I graduated in 1978, so these guys knew each other for the last 31, 30, whatever years it is, and they've been friends. And I remember in high school that they knew each other and they were friends back then. So it wasn't like these guys just broke into a house looking for drugs. They knew basically what they were looking for. They knew where Mr. Lydell lived. The complainant, Susan Lydell, she clearly identified him, and when I talked to her first, she told me point blank it was John Navigato, and she recognized him right away when he first came into the house.
Dave, do you have IDs on the other two, and do we know who the shooter is?
We're still working on the shooter. We have the names, of course, John Navigato, he's 50, he's out of Bristol. We have Teddy Biker, Bieker, he's 19, out of Kenosha. We have Brian Suchecki, Suchecki, he's 37, out of Twin Lakes. And we have a Richard Beater, Beeter, 54, he's out of Lake Villa, Illinois. I do have pictures of the three suspects that I will be putting out of Mr. Navigato, Mr. Suchecki, and Mr. Beaker. The car, the 2008 Mazda, was owned by Mr. Beater out of Lake Villa. That is currently in the safety building. It is being processed. And the scene has already been processed. The detectives are back into the building, and they're putting all the evidence and putting it into evidence. So I think our deputies just did a fantastic job in, first of all, responding. Dispatch itself did a good job in getting that message out, because one of the things that if you listen to the tape, you will not actually hear the dispatcher say anything about the process or take time to delay. But she could hear the computer in the background typing, and that message was being relayed to our sheriff's dispatch. Deputy Zarletti rapidly got over there, and everything worked out like it's supposed to after the fact. Obviously, we all wish it didn't happen to begin with, but I'm very proud of the people that are standing up here, including our investigative unit that is still diligently working on processing the evidence and making sure that the people involved are going to come find justice in this.
I think the four men will go through court today.
They may have a bond hearing today, but I don't think the prelim will be today. I don't think they'll. I think most of it will be tomorrow. I don't think we'll have everything ready today.
But there's a chance that they physically may be
There's
in
a
court.
chance.
If that happens, it would probably be in the afternoon.
Yes.
Did the suspects try to flee at all in the car? Was there any pursuit, or did they pull over pretty quickly?
Everything I've been told, they pulled over rather quickly. I think that if I remember Deputy Zarletti telling me correctly, at approximately Highway 50, they were going southbound on 75, which turns into 83 by Braswell. He activated his red lights. Deputy Cypress was right behind or next to him, and within 100 yards or so they pulled over.
And about the 75 to 76 on the wall.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.